Hello, my name is DJ Studios and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be continuing a series I started months ago. In order to try and introduce those that haven't seen Classic Who to Classic Who, I call it Recommending Classic Who. I'm not very creative. I get a lot of questions from my friend Will saying things like, is Claws of Axos good? And I reply with, I don't know, I haven't seen it. The point being that every Classic Who fan will recommend the episode that they really like. Like, Genesis of the Daleks is a good story, but it's not a good thing to ease yourself into Classic Who. And basically this series is about finding those episodes that newbies can watch. I did one with season 26 a couple of months ago and I felt like I didn't really give them all room to breathe, so with this format I'm going to. From Monday to Friday this week, I'm going to do a video every day and that would be about each episode. So Robot, Ark in Space, the Sontaron Experiment, Genesis of the Daleks, and Revenge of the Cybermen. That's the last one. There are a couple of characteristics that I kind of judge the episodes by. So the first is the pacing, the second is the effects, the third is the characters, and the fourth is its overall enjoyment. So let's find out whether today's episode is recommended or not recommended. Hiya. Our next episode is featuring the Daleks and a nice 6-part episode. Oh, hang on, we've got a Sontaron 2-parter first. The Sontaron Experiment then. The next episode in the series. Sontaron Experiment is our third story in season 12 and it is a nice 2-parter starring the Sontarans but also some field that was probably quite cheap to film in. I'm not sure, I don't know what the field's called, I'm sure it has a name. This story is 2 parts long, but there is so much stuff going on behind the scenes, which I found absolutely incredible. Tom Baker damaged his collarbone halfway through, I think it was episode 1. So in episode 2 and some of episode 1, he has his arm like this, and they tried to cover it up in his costume. He was concerned he was going to lose being the Doctor. It was incredibly muddy. It was incredibly cold. The bloke that played the Sontaran was quite ill at the time, which was a disease that he later died from, and it was one of the first ones that they filmed, so not a great start. So a series of travellers find themselves on this planet, which is very much like a field, and have their crew basically taken away by some creature, the Sontaran, and the creature takes them away and experiments on them. It learns things in order to try and win wars in order to defeat their race. For this series I like to make jokes for all of the transitions, but this time I'm really struggling. So I've gone with the really original joke of making reference to the Sontaran's head shape. This is a carrot. Pacing then, well, if I would complain about this then I would be an idiot. The episode is 2 parts long, it's basically 40 minutes, and I think that for that it's paced incredibly well. You know, pacing tends to have issues when the thing's been drawn out, or, you know, the script has been made a 4-parter to a 6-parter, something that Doctor Who seemed to do quite a lot, not necessarily meaning that they have to rewrite bits, it just meant that they had more scenes to talk slowly. You might notice that I'm dragging my heels a bit here. It's because of the fact that I can't complain about 2 episodes having bad pacing. Just make sure that you watch them one after the other, because then that's how these 2 are supposed to be watched. But when I think about it, I don't think there's that much more that could have come from this idea. The idea that the Sontarans were experimenting on people couldn't go much further than the episode itself, so I see why this one's a 2-parter. I get it. Sontarans look like potatoes. It's funny. The effects for this episode are basically minimal. They just don't really put any in, if I'm honest. I think that the field was cheap and a great idea to film on. You know, well, it's not a field, it's like proper moors and stuff. In order to get them over there must have been such a logistical issue, from things such as trailers, actors, catering, all of that, having to move that all into the middle of nowhere. One shot that really stands out for me is a reverse shot that they do, which is quite clearly reverse, but, you know, it's 1975. And this shows quite a lot of problem solving, which is what of most of Classic Who is about when they were making these things. And it's a very clever way to do a shot, which without it would be very difficult. Ah, yes, but I suppose that the costume that is the Sontaran kind of counts as an effect, doesn't it? So I can see his eyes. like it's very clearly a mask, and you know the time and all of the prosthetic stuff that we have now would mean that, you know, trying to do the eyes would be a very difficult piece, you know, to try and like get it to actually grip onto the side of his eyes, and things like that. So you can see like the holes where he puts it over his head and things like that, and the lips are a bit strange at times. He doesn't exactly move them like I am now. That's not a rock, it's just a potato. Even though that this is an episode set in the moors of basically endless space, the episode does remain quite contained with its characters. There are 3 main crew members, and then there are Harry, the Doctor, and Sarah Jane. Doesn't go much further than that, and obviously you have the Sontaron as a villain as well. They have enough of a distinctive personality for you to tell them apart, but to be honest, they're still a bit one note. I really can't complain overall. I think that with all the issues that they had, they've done a really great job of making this 2-parter. I think that pacing wise, it's excellent for someone new coming into Who, like myself, when this was one of the first ones that I watched, because it was an easy gateway into classic Who, because those 2-parters, and in fact all 2-parters, are about 40 minutes, which means that you can watch one in the span of what would be a regular episode of Doctor Who. So this is definitely going to be recommended. I don't think I can say any otherwise, and of course it was going to be recommended from exactly when I started talking about the pacing, but I think that the Sontarans are nice, recognisable villains for fans of New Who, so they will be a great thing to see in classic Who, kind of, but I suppose I'm kind of biased. So thank you guys very much for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure you give a like, subscribe if you were new. Each day of the week I'm going to be doing a recommending Doctor Who with series 12. So tomorrow we have Genesis of the Daleks. Earlier in the week I've done Robot, and I have done Ark in Space, and you can go and check them out. There will be a playlist, and I'm sure I'll link them down in the description below. But anyway, thank you guys very much for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure you get a like, subscribe if you're new, and I shall see you soon. Goodbye.